Good evening, this is Isaac with Programmable Audio, episode 20 of Mix with a Noob. Tonight we're doing final changes and committing to the mix. It's finally here, episode 20. I'm pretty excited about this. I've been waiting for this for quite a while. I am also excited because I hit the 24-pound mark in my weight loss challenge. I'm at the first day of week 5, so 2 weeks left. So I passed the 20-pound mark, which is they want you to try to lose 20 in 6 weeks. I have 9 more workouts to go, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I hope to hit 30 by the end of 6 weeks. I think it's doable, and I'm actually telling myself that I want to lose 60 by the end of mixing the album. So have some goals there going on. Maybe I can mix faster or mix slower. But anyway, I've been kind of nervous about getting episode 20 out because I know it means I'm done with the mix and I'm going to leave it behind and move on to more songs, which is important. So because I was nervous, I didn't want to spend a couple of hours on I didn't want to put out like a 2-hour final video or something crazy. So I actually came in ahead of time and did a bunch of changes. Kind of clean up stuff. You'll notice I have all my markers in place now. I should have done this early on. This is what it would look like with all your full markers and everything labeled out. This is also important for when you go to master, at least the few times I've attempted mastering and knowing, where each part of the song is. One of the things I did is I doubled up the vocal on the chorus. So I just added another vocal track and I just dragged these down. Pretty simple. I put some effects on the chorus here. I actually put delay and chorus. Now, the reason I doubled this up and made this kind of thick sounding, let's listen to it just briefly here. I'll do it soloed.
Breathing in for and more.
And I'll do it in the mix. The reason I'm doing this is because the guitar player / singer, the front man, as you might say, who also wrote the song, except maybe I know part of the lyrics were co-written, but he's the mastermind behind the song. And what he said, because I asked him early on, I said, "Can you give me any bands or specific songs or albums that you are influenced by that you want me to try to mix towards?" And he came back with Black Keys. And I don't remember the exact song he sent. I know it was off of their El Camino album. I forget exactly the song. I think it was I Got Mine, maybe. But he likes the way that the Black Keys vocals are really just thick and wavery. And I mean, I don't think I went as far as that sound. Let's hear it one more time. I think the Black Keys and their vocals are kind of shimmery and real thick and doubled up. And I've read in a lot of places, I've heard in several videos and read that doubling up of the vocals is a pretty common technique. So I went ahead and did that. You can see them here in this lower track. What else did I do? Let's see here. Oh, because of that, I did have to change. So I still have my volume at my vocal volume at -18. But let's open up our notes here. Let's see here, notes. Yeah, vocals at -18. The only difference is now I have these 2 individual tracks trimmed back to negative. Ooh, that one's not. That one's at -5, 6. Let's get this to an even number. Let's actually go to -5 and see how that sounds. I tried to trim them both back to -10, but you couldn't hear this doubled chorus. Part of that is I discovered I had another bypass or auto makeup on, which I think I need to get out of the habit of using it because I don't really understand. Like, I haven't learned how to use it correctly musically in the mix. I just use it generally to boost a signal, which I guess is okay. Let's listen to the doubled one by itself. So you can hear that chorus on there, and it's chorus length of 1 millisecond, and it's 7 voices. So it's, I mean, it's real light already, and it doesn't really cut through the mix that much. Let's just dial it back to 80% because when I put this out, I'm committing at the end of this mix, and I know if somebody hears it in the vocals, if I send it to my bandmates and go, hey, this is it, this is the mix I'm doing for Digging Holes. And if one of them goes, oh man, there's a lot of chorus on that chorus, I'll say, yeah, that's, you know, it was a decision I made. And I could go back and fix it later. I honestly could, but like I said, I'm going to try to commit and just move on. So, what was that? Input 5, okay. All right, so there was that. I also, what else did I do? Okay, for guitar, what I was struggling with was making this bass chorus 16th note, these little runs here. Listen to just the bass. That's at the end, the second part of the chorus, where the bass speeds up and it starts kind of dancing around. I wanted it to duck the guitar so the guitar wasn't as prominent. And I finally got it. It took some figuring out. What I did was I put a compressor on the guitar. So here's the guitar. And I'm using the auxiliary input, so it's channels 3 and 4. So on my bass bus, I have a send. Actually, I'm sorry. I used the send from just this track because that's all it contains are those parts, which is another handy reason why you break up the parts, leave them in different tracks instead of condensing them into one, which I was doing early on. Not smart. So in my send here, I have it sent to the guitar bus. You can see it here, and I have it set to from 1 to 2 to 3 and 4. So that creates a side chain, an auxiliary situation. So when those bass notes start hitting this compressor, it's a pretty light. It's 1.3 to 1 ratio. It's really not. It's not heavy at all. I think I have it dialed in just exactly where I like it. I guess I would like to listen to this one more time as an output, and we can see it dancing here. Here's where it. And you hopefully can hear a little bit. It's just when those bass notes hit, it just ducks the guitar a little because the guitar is just doing the same pattern, and the bass is moving. So the bass gives the song some energy. So you want that guitar to kind of sit back a little bit. But what I found was that it would release the way it would release on this final note right here. The guitar would swell back in unnaturally. So I used automation here to bypass it. So here we see bypass for the recomp on the guitar bus, and you can see the spot in all 3 places where that note happens. So that's sounding pretty good to me. I'm really happy with that. I finally got, I mean, it took some finagling to get this modulation to where I want it, and I have the strength here. To look at this, you'd have to go back to 19 or 18, I believe, on the episodes. I set up this modulation, FX modulation. I was having a hell of a time getting it. I was actually just making it duck the wet signal, and I finally realized, like, no, just let it. I mean, yes, it is still ducking the wet signal. The issue I was having was that the ratio was too high. So I got it to just duck this just enough, but the ratio is also so light that it doesn't really crush the guitar. So that's working for me. That was a success. The other thing, some of the things I changed down here in the bass, the drum, the kick drum. Now I'm struggling with a kind of a debate in my head here, because I've done some sample replacement, and what sample replacement means is if you have a track, for example, kick drum or snare drum, that's poor because of the way you recorded it, and that falls on me. It's really not the drummer's fault. Just the way we have the mics placed, and it's the room, and it's the drums. It's a whole combination of things that just you end up with just a flubby. Let's listen to it. Okay, that's gated, so you know it sounds a little artificial, of course. Let's see if we can bypass the gate. Yeah, we can't bypass the gate because there's automation in place. Oh, actually, we can just hang on. There we go. Let's bypass that gate. This is what it just sounds like in the raw naturally. It's not terrible. I mean, honestly, when I hear it, it's not terrible. It's just, you know what? Maybe what I need is I'm gonna listen to the whole mix with it bypassed. Yeah, it's. I don't think that makes much of a difference. It makes the kick a little crisper, I think, to have that gate on there. So my dilemma is if I want more, because I think these hits don't really have much of a nose. And we could try, what we can try now is we can actually normalize them and see if that, ooh, that created a brand new track. All right, so let's go item processing, normalize items. That's control shift normalize. Ooh, so that made them a little spikier. Let's listen to this. Huh, that might be all I needed. Wow. That's a kind of a happy accident. Yeah, so that maybe just put enough nose on there. That might have been all it needed. Wow, okay. My complaint was that these were just not, they didn't have enough of a transient, but now they do now. Let's go through and, my only fear with that is, so this is Alt-Shift-N. No, that's not it. That created a new project. Okay, Control-Shift-N. There we go. My only fear with this is if it alters these so drastically, I might have to remix, but I guess that can be... Yeah, that's sounding a heck of a lot better. So I've heard arguments for and against normalizing. My experience with it early on was I was normalizing everything as I recorded because I wanted it to come into the headphones louder. So I didn't have experience with boosting the signal using an output gain from ReEQ or Refer. There's several plugins you can just boost the output gain at the end, and that solves the problem. So I was just normalizing every single track, and I posted in Reddit, and they said, no, you don't want to be doing that. That's kind of... Okay, but this seems like the ideal time to normalize, because these start out with really weak signals, really weak waveforms, because I had the gain turned all the way down on the board just to prevent clipping, because I didn't want to tune it in just enough, and then maybe he gives it a little too much, and boom, now we clip and we have to go back. So I just really had the gain, and these are not bad, but you can see they're really, really small. So pretty much, I guess normalizing would be... So now I'm thinking maybe there's too much. What we can do is dial back the I have the transient booster or transient controller. What is it called? It's on the kick bus here. Transient controller, exactly what it's called. So I have the attack all the way at 100. So we could actually dial this back. Let's dial it back to 50 and just hear what that sounds like. I have my sustain down just to take some of the boominess out of it. Okay, that's a section with it that I have not normalized yet. So let's just go through and let's just normalize everything before we forget. And I can always back out of all of this. Control Z all of it out. But I think this might be my solution. I'm kind of happy that I tried this. I shied away from normalizing so much. Yeah, that's making that kick just sound so much more robust. I'm liking that. Okay, so that was one of the issues I heard in my notes, was that the kick was just like weak, and it's hard to get a kick to sound nice and crisp and powerful in the mix without it sounding like booming. Like, I mean, it depends on the genre or what kind of song you're making, but too far and it's just booming and slamming in your ear, and not enough and it's weak and flabby. So here is another thing that I did, and this I'm going to attribute directly to the person who taught me how to do it, It's Glenn Fricker from SMG Studios. He has a channel, and it's mostly talking about musicians and things like that. But he does a lot of gear reviews, and he does some how-to videos. He does a number of how to record drums. So I'm trying to change the color here. What he does is he throws a sine wave onto his kicks just to make them extra low, and so the way you do this is, here I named the track Kick Sine, and in here, so I have my routing. I'm receiving from all the kicks. I'm receiving from the kick bus. Wait, why would I receive from the kick bus? That's weird. Oh, I think because early on I thought, oh, I'll just send from the kick bus, but it doesn't work like that. So this receives from all 4 kick channels below it. And in here I have a tone generator and regate. This tone generator, whatever you set it to, it's just sending out tone nonstop. The thing that's stopping it from blaring in your ears right now is regate is set. So, and I have it inverted. You see the little check mark here for duck. So only when this is giving signal is this putting out a sound. So let's listen to this. You might find this really interesting. It sounds like an 808, right? It sounds like an old school drum. So that just gives the kick body. It just gives it like this pure tone, flashing. If I turn this gate off, that's what it sounds like. So the gate is what's keeping it from buzzing. And what I did is I set it to E at 52 hertz, which is the equivalent of the low E. So, and then do I have my octave? We could actually go lower with this. Let's go -2 octaves. Huh, that's too low to even hear, I guess. Wow. There. You can probably hear that. Let's hear if that makes a difference in the mix. Let's listen to... Okay, that's just the drum mix. Now let's just listen to the kick. Yeah, I think that's too low to even... I don't even know. Wait. Let's turn it up a little more. See how low that is? But my fear, if it's an octave below 52 hertz, like you're only going to hear it if you have a sub. So I'm going to just leave it at 52 hertz. I believe, as far as I know, my car speakers can get this. I'm really boosting it now so hopefully you can hear it. I mean, it just gives the bass just like a little punch to it, a little more. Yeah, that kick drum now to me is sounding amazing. My only fear now is that it's going to be too much, because I recall if it's sufficient in here, then it's overkill in the car. So I guess the key would be to dial it back. I mean, because we gave it gain, we gave it amplitude. By normalizing, we're dragging that waveform upward. By, normalizing means that it brings, as far as I understand this, it kind of takes like an average and it brings everything up to that average. It's to a common gain, right? So I'm going to dial this back. I'm going to just go like 1 dB because I don't want to do too much and then have it weak in the mix. Let's make sure we can still hear it, okay? Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. It's still fine right there. So I'm guessing that's going to be great in the mix. I'm thinking now it's close to being done. This is almost done. I want to give it a listen through, and if we hit any weird stuff, we're going to address it. Pretty excited about this. Okay, that's sounding good. The one thing, the vocals right now, let me put both sides on. I don't know if I showed you this. I automated a 1 dB boost. It's not even a full dB. It's like 0.9, I think. Yeah, 0.96, close enough. A 1 dB boost for the vocals on the chorus, because when I did my audio notes, I did a third round of audio notes. I actually did 2 or 3 different rounds on that last mix because I knew I was coming to episode 20 and I wanted to really get as much refinement as I could get. And one of the things was the vocals for the chorus were too low. Vocals for the verse were fine. They were slightly too loud on the phone or on a laptop, which I guess is a thing I just have to kind of try to compensate for by lowering the vocals a little, but not killing them. Like right now, to me, they sound too low. Let's go back to where we were. Sorry, right at the chorus, maybe. Sorry, guys. All right, let's keep listening through. I won't stop and make any changes, or I didn't make any changes, but so I think that 1 dB increase plus the doubling now. Oh, you know what? I forgot something. Let's jump to the... I just said I wouldn't stop it. I'm sorry. All right, let's listen to this third chorus because I actually nudged these over to give it like a overlap to see if it would sound any... See, I don't know. I don't think that's... I nudged it over 7 milliseconds, and I don't think that's... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, let's see. Make sure I do that. 115, 115.2.86. Yeah. Oh, okay. Close enough. I can't tell if shifting it. Let's shift it by a great amount. Not a great amount, but let's go 20 milliseconds. And I'm going to go left. Let's see if how much of a difference that makes. My fear is to put them out of phase. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I discovered another mistake, and this is something I cannot edit out, because he holds this note out at the end, but there's clicks in it from the headphone bleed. So this is an artifact that's going to stay in the song that is just there forever. And most listeners might not even hear. You can kind of see them. There's one click. That might be one. That's one. But let's listen to it. He goes, holes. And it's like click, 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 click. It's coming from the headphones into the mic. Okay, the good thing is in the mix, it's almost imperceptible. Let's listen to the vocals by themselves. There they are. Actually, no. So that's not one of them. You don't hear them till like over here. Right here. Let's listen again. There. It's really, really light. It's no big deal, and I almost guarantee nobody's gonna even hear it. Somebody with a keen ear might someday go, "Hey, digging holes was pretty good for one of your early mixes, but I heard that clicking in the third chorus on that last note. You know, okay, I'll deal with that." All right, so I like the way that sounds. Shifted. Now somebody could probably teach me a better way to do that by altering this delay somehow. But delay is something that I'm really struggling with to really learn. I mean, I've shifted these around and felt how they affect it, but I believe that I'm not really getting like add tap. I don't really know. See, there's different ways to delay. Let's listen to what the tap did. That might be too much, man. Yeah, see that tap. Let's add like 4. Let's see. I mean, I don't really know if I can hear. I guess it just makes it cloudy. I don't know. So anyway, I just shifted everything left. Was it 20? Did I say 20 milliseconds? Yeah. So I'm going to do the same thing. Nudge left 20 milliseconds for all 3 of these parts so they sound the same. All right. Wow, that now I can hear that kick drum just really. I'm thinking I'm gonna cut it more because, like I said, from experience, if it sounds sufficient in these headphones, when I throw it in my car, it's just, you know, way overpowered. Still think there need to be some kind of like whistle or something there. Yeah, to me that sounds really good. That kick though, I don't know, man. I'm probably gonna have to give this one more listen, honestly. I'll do another output of it. I guess I can't really commit at the end of this episode only because of that kick. So I'll just make this promise that aside from any glaring, if I hear anything really off that's not the kick, I'll change that. But I want to do an output of this and listen to it in my car tomorrow and check the kick, because we normalize it and that could create a problem. I mean, it sounds fine here. So what I should probably do is learn, somehow teach myself these headphones to my car, you know, and know that if it sounds sufficient in here, I actually need like a 2 or 3 dB cut to make it sound perfect in my car, something like that. So, and that's just an experience thing that should come with time. I don't think we've ever listened to the whole song before. Man, I think it's driving right there. It sounds so good. We're battle strong. Oof. Now it almost sounds like I think I've maybe over-processed the vocals now. I can kind of hear it. I mean, if we're going for that Black Keys sound, maybe it's, yeah, I'm gonna dial these back just by changing the wet here. Let's go 75%, and this one was already at, so what was this one at 80? Let's go 60 with this one, just because if I can hear it in the headphones, and probably I'm guessing my bandmates will hear it and go, man, those vocals are just overkill. I'm thinking maybe there's too much reverb too. Let me see here.
Breathing in, yeah, there are no secrets.
So I'm cutting the vocal verb by 2 dB just to give it a listen.
Yeah, there are no secrets. Things are out of
Yeah, that
hand.
might be good.
Breathing in, or and hold.
All right, so I will commit to this mix. Tomorrow morning, I will do one last output to check the vocals, how they sound in the mix, as far as they're too low here, but they should be sufficient in the car and on my phone. And then the kick, to see if the kick is just overpowering everything. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure I'm good to go with this mix. Pretty happy with it. It's obviously not a work of art. It's not a high-level mix. But I've spent... I mean, we did 20 episodes, and each episode is... I think the shortest episode I ever put out was maybe 35 minutes, and most of them were knocking on an hour. So maybe 15 hours or something like that of mixing, which, you know, that's probably 2 days at a big studio, I guess, and that's... I don't know if that's normal. I would imagine that's not far off. I mean, maybe bigger studios spend a day mixing because they know exactly what they're doing, and all their stuff is recorded to a high caliber, so it comes in. It's easier to manipulate because it's not as rough, you know, maybe. So I'm good to go. But like I said, I kind of want to check those as like a fail safe. I know I've been saying that I'm going to commit and go, but because those changes are such drastic changes at the last minute, I want to be sure. I want to just make sure I'm not completely killing it. So I will commit to only reviewing the kick and the vocals, and we'll do maybe episode 20 part 2 or something, just to come back and say, hey, the changes I made, I liked them, they added to the mix, it's all good to go, song's done. So there you go, episode 20 of Mix with a Noob. Thank you for, if you've watched from the beginning, from episode 1, thank you for sticking it out with me. I really appreciate it. I feel like I've learned some pretty valuable lessons, and I'm going to keep going. I think my next series will be something like about developing your instincts as a mixer, which is something I need to actually teach myself. So as I send out the knowledge, it'll sink in and cultivate in my own brain. So how to develop your noob mixer instinct or something like that. That might be the next one coming up. So all right, thanks for watching. Have a good night.